Hello and welcome to another episode of Absent with Our Lord podcast, everything faith, family, and outdoors. Join us on all social media platforms and share with friends and family. We hope you are encouraged and uplifted by our content as we share the good news, the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Hey guys, it's Jonathan here, Absent with Our Lord podcast, bringing you another episode. On the phone we have Dale Beatty. He is a Legionnaire for Phorm, and he also has some YouTube channels. Check him out. But we got him on the phone, and we're going to learn about some hopefully faith, family, outdoor type stuff, keeping it true to the channel and our content. So, Mr. Beatty, thank you for coming on with us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor to be here. Grateful to be here.
And I guess our first topic we're going to get into, is kind of the road. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself and how life has treated you and what you've come up to and what we need to do to get to know you better.
Yeah, so, we're chit-chatting a little bit, before we hopped on here, but it's, life doesn't look the same anymore after 2021. So leading up until that point, I was pretty lost. I was just lost. I was going through the motions of life and had no true purpose, no true direction. And I had been... There's always been something in the back of my mind of, like, this can't be it for life. Waking up, going to work, a job that you may enjoy some days, other days you don't enjoy. But again, just going through the motions of life. And I was, really contemplating that and trying to figure out my purpose, my direction, why God put us here. I'm sure a lot of us struggle with that same exact thing, that question of, why did he put us here? Why did he put us here during this time? But I found over the years, through working on myself through physical fitness, it has led to different avenues for myself to actually uncover my purpose and why I'm here. So back in 2021, I did a program called 75 Hard. And for those who do not know what 75 Hard is, it's 75 days long. You can fail one day. You have to start back over at the beginning, but it consists of 2 45-minute workouts a day, one indoor, one outdoor. Drink a gallon of water, take a progress picture, do 10 pages of a self-development nonfiction book. And I feel like I'm missing something else on there. Picture.
No drinking.
No alcohol. Oh. No alcohol. Yeah. It's funny. It's funny I forget about that one because now I'm 2 years sober. But no alcohol, no cheat meals, stick to a diet. And, Andy Versella, CEO of Phorm, he's the one that came out with the program. And, I believe he came out with it in like 2019. And I tried the program in 2019 and I made it only probably about 12 or 13 days. And then I gave up, on the program. I gave up on myself, honestly, and just went back to my old ways. But in 2021, I was kind of over it. We'd just gone through COVID. Stuck at home, working from home. The world was just, it was just different in 2020. A lot of weird things going on. And, he's saying out of this program, you can just get your self-esteem back, get some confidence, some discipline, some grit. And I'll never forget, my day one was January 5th, 2021. And I just haven't looked back since that day as far as working on myself. Physically, mentally, and spiritually, ever since that day. So,
I feel you on missing out on or failing the first. I failed on like day 40. I didn't take my progress picture. I was like ready to throw up the next day when I realized that. So I did like 115 hard. Fortunately I picked it right back up at day one the next day, but the failure's rough.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. I don't think I was. I think in 2019, the reason I didn't pick it back up, I don't think I had hit rock bottom. honestly,
Yep.
mentally yet. I think, God had to put me through a little bit more to realize that, like, okay, Dale, now it's time to change. It's time to turn things around. And again, like I said, I just haven't looked back since that day. I mentioned it earlier, but I'm now 2 years sober. Gave up alcohol for good because it wasn't serving me as an individual, as a person at all. So I feel like God, He really was calling me to do that, and I don't miss it at all. I was prior to that, I'm drinking 5-6 days a week, for absolutely no reason at all, and not winning at life. Again, just felt like I was stuck going through the motions.
I'm a recovering alcoholic myself. Our sobriety dates are pretty close. Yours is June 30th, if I remember right, isn't it?
Yep.
That's
it.
June 26th, 2017 for me. So it's
What
a
is
whole
it about the month of June?
Yeah, right. It's a whole different life, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's a completely different life, and
never dreamed of how much better you can be. How much better life can be.
Right. Well, as soon as you make that commitment to yourself of, hey, I'm not drinking anymore, and you don't break that promise, there's so much power in that. Keeping those commitments that you make to yourself, keeping those promises that you make to yourself, and realizing that there really is a different life out there for you on the other side of, giving up whatever that vice is for yourself. Alcohol, drugs, pornography, whatever it may be. There is a better life on the other side of that.
Did you do any kind of support groups, 12-step programs or anything, or did you just say you're done with it?
I was cold turkey. I got that glimpse during 75 hard of going 75 days without it. And I was just like, you know what, I don't need it. I started winning more at life. I started feeling more fulfilled.
Yeah,
right.
I believe it's Andy that says when you win more at life, it just becomes part of who you are, right?
Right.
And you realize you don't need those things in your life that weigh you down, and I think that's part of your important journey and what you hit on the key word of finding our purpose. And then it's really, like you said, COVID, different time. I hate we still have to talk about that, but that's when you started realizing, same thing you asked your question, everybody started looking, what is my purpose? What is this what it is? To wake up, the mundane, the day in, the day out? Again, right around that time, we were looking at the AWOL, the absent, White Oak Legends, and just doing something different just for a higher calling, that higher purpose that you mentioned is kind of how we got into this. Like, are we living up to our full potential? And the answer, when you look in the mirror and you ask that difficult question, it's a hard pill to swallow. No, I'm not.
Right. But so you have to have that difficult conversation with yourself. We all have to go through that day one. That day one is where everything changes,
Absolutely.
We all have to get to that point, and we have to be real with ourselves.
And again, it brings us on to our next topic, a new endeavor. It's nothing probably you've taken lightly, Gym Blue and starting that. Do you want to talk about that? And again, I'm sure there were some nerves or some anxiousness that comes with stepping away from what you've known and trying down or going down a different path.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So before we get there to Gym Blue, so during 75 hard, for the diet piece of it, this plays into the reason why we're opening up Gym Blue. But the diet piece of it, I needed. I used the First Phorm app to track my diet for it, and I didn't even know that they had an app to track your food. Like, I had used like MyFitnessPal, back when I was in college, a little bit after college, because I knew that I knew going into all this fitness sort of stuff. So I worked out in college. I knew the diet was important, but I never had stuck to a diet before. But anyways, I downloaded the First Phorm app, and they had just announced their New Year Transformation Challenge. And this was back in 2021. And so, I really didn't know if I could make it through all of 75 hard, but that challenge itself, through First Phorm, is 8 weeks long, 56 days. I was like, well, if I can't make it through all of 75 hard, at least let me see if I can stick to a diet for 56 days. So I uploaded my set of pictures. You get a sign-in advisor through the First Phorm app to hold you accountable. You have live streams in there that I watch daily still to this day because there's just so much great information about nutrition, supplementation, and physical fitness. So got into the challenge, rocking out 75 hard, and I had completed 75 hard, and after I completed 75 hard, me and my wife took a vacation out to Sedona, Arizona. While we were out there, it was day one of the trip. Found out that I was the runner-up in the 2021 New Year Transformation Challenge and won $10,000 from that. So during that 56-day period, that 8-week challenge, I lost a little bit over 30 pounds and had really great transformation. And then all of 75 hard, I think I lost a little bit over 40 pounds. But like at that point as well, as much as you're reading and working out, taking care of yourself, not drinking, I'd fallen in love with physical fitness, with personal development. And as soon as I completed 75 hard, me and my wife, we were like, let's open up a gym. I think it'd be really cool to open up a gym here in Lexington for our community here because, we don't have anything, we don't have any nice, nice gyms here. And so that's when, we started planning out, back in 2021, the, Gym Blue, this year, this November, we're looking to be opening up. But, it started, way back in 2021 of, working on myself. My wife did 75 hard as well. So I could say, both of us working on ourselves. We're firm believers that physical fitness is a gateway drug to personal development. And, we've just really embodied that and stepped into that. And, we're looking forward to bringing Gym Blue to our community here and helping out, people in their lives as well. 'Cause we're not going to be just your normal gym that you go to. We're going to have, books in there for the personal development side of things. The books that I've read over the years that have really impacted, my life and our lives together to help us pursue our dreams. So, different things like that we're really looking forward to bringing to the community here.
What would you say, how did 75 Hard impact you and your wife when you did it together? Because this last, I don't know when I don't know when my husband and I stopped. I don't know when we just ended. The last go around of 75 Hard, me and my husband did it together. And I think that it, I don't know, it almost unified us even more.
Yeah. It does. It definitely does that. So I took the first step. So I completed 75 hard first. And then as soon as I completed it, it was a little bit afterwards, she was like, I want in on this. And so I did it. I ended up doing phase 1 and phase 2, basically with her while she was doing her 75 hard, the whole entire thing. But yes, it definitely brings you together. And it makes you, I don't know the word for it. I think you hit the nail on the head. It brings you together as a unit. You're both on the same page, both have the same mission. Because it's tough,
Oh, there's nothing easy about it. I think people think that it may be easy, but then when you start, usually somebody could do something for 30 days or something like that. So, right. but when 75 days of doing it, and the weather and outside and, my husband is, I guess, physique wise, he's a smaller stature person, but the end of it, you could see the physical transformation more in him than me. But I did it first, and then I did it in the worst, probably. When I did 75 hard, it was the worst challenging portion probably of our marriage, maybe of 10 years when I did it first. And it just keeps you going. Almost no plan B, keeps you on the path, level-headedness. And then the second time, he actually was going through sobriety recovery himself, and then he was at the end of that, over a year sober, and then we did it together. And then it was really hard actually to stop. I think he was more scared to stop than like, oh, I'm going so well. Like it's over. What do I do now?
Right. Yeah, there is that. It's over. Like what to do now? So I remember I finished 75. That day 75, woke up day 76. I was like, well, I mean, I still feel good, so I'm just going to do the same stuff I have been doing. So went for a little victory lap. But then also too, like the program is like it's honestly, in my opinion, it's sustainable. Because still to this day, I'm still doing 2 45-minute workouts a day, still reading, still doing the water. You know, whether I'm on or off the program, like I'm still keeping those same daily disciplines, those same daily habits, because they're just, you know, I've made them a part of my lifestyle.
And I guess just to double back and go back to that Gym Blue, that's very, very intriguing. I like the books and just kind of being a total resource for fitness and health. That is definitely a neat take on a gym.
What type of building is it? It looks like a very old industry barn. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's actually an old tobacco barn.
Okay, all right, because it is what it looks like. So as that was what the size of it, I mean, your possibilities are endless there. You'll be able to have a CrossFit box, any type. I mean, you
can do some legit rope climbs.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way God works. So originally we were looking for like 3,000 square feet. We weren't dreaming big enough, obviously, according to God's plans, because this place that we're in now is actually 6,200 square feet.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about the name? Is it Kentucky Wildcat Blue? Is that the...
So we came up with the name. So we have 4 dogs.
I love it.
We have 2 German Shepherd Pointers, a Weimaraner, and a Vizsla. And our Vizsla's name is Blue. And honestly, that's all we could really think of. But then also too, it plays into, you know, Kentucky Wildcats here, because we're all, you know, huge Kentucky fans here. Like, so.
Yeah, I watched the episode and you know, I could relate. Just again, you know, not being too far from Lexington, understand the terrain. I know a lot of good people from Lexington, and then the fact you talking about dogs and chickens, and we are blessed to have some property here. We have a farm where we hunt, but then I even live outside on a just 5 acres here, but we have a pond, we have ducks, we have chickens. Well, if we can keep the dogs away from the chickens, we have chickens.
We have same here.
But
same
we
here.
have what I got
75
4
rabbits.
Yeah, rabbits. I have kids and they love it, and all our dogs' names are. We have labs. I love the labs. I love it for the waterfowl aspect and things like that. And all our dogs, like our black lab is named Zeppelin, and you know, we have a chocolate. And just when I said that, I could really relate. I'm like, this guy sounds like my place.
Yeah.
Animals running. And then when you said that and Gym Blue, I'm like, okay, I got it. I understand that.
So on the spiritual side, what does your life spiritually look like? Do you guys just regular churchgoers or grew up in church?
Yeah, we actually both grew up in church. But then, you know, at least for myself, you know, I went to college for 4 years, and if you are not disciplined about going to church, then you're not going to go, especially in college, at least for myself. I didn't have the discipline to go to church those years that I was in school, and then even like a little bit afterwards, because once you step into you know, full-time job, graduation, full-time job, you know, you're trying to build your career, build yourself. For some reason, I don't know why, but we put God on the back burner, as if, you know, he just doesn't exist anymore. He's not there anymore. But again, step back into my faith back in 2021. And yeah, I've just obviously, I mean, wouldn't be here without him, you know? So, yeah, those were some crazy rough years, through college, and even like after. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I didn't put two and two together. Like, I grew up in church, knew about God, but I didn't have a relationship with him myself until I started talking to him and asking him for a relationship. And that's where the relationship, evolved into what it is today. So.
There was one of the podcasts I've listened to several that you've been on, and you went into your story. Well, you went pretty deep earlier in this conversation, but the similarities of you mentioned hitting rock bottom and hitting that point that for me it was I'm putting my family through hell and. Got a life insurance policy, and maybe they would be better off if I wasn't around anymore. And that really scared me. And I think you had a similar situation to that. And that was when I always say I was healed as much as a blind man getting his sight back. That God just relieved me of that obsession and compulsion to drink, but. An experience the following day, whenever the day after I guess it's technically my sobriety day, that God spoke to me. I don't know if it was an audible voice because I was by myself, but it was an experience that makes the short list of putting the existence of God and the love of God just absolutely beyond doubt. And I didn't know if that was because you mentioned 2021 and some of that of God did just, all right, Dale, time to work me back in here, or how exactly that went for you, if there was more to it or not.
I don't know if it was it might have been a voice. I don't know if it was a voice or not, but definitely in the same questioning why I'm here. Maybe my family would be better off without me here. Definitely those same thoughts, but we know that that's only God that pulls us out of those dark places that we're in. Because it was just something inside of me was literally, I came home from work January 4th, 2021. I was looking at myself in the mirror. I walked downstairs, looking at my wife in her eyes. I said, I'm starting to send me my part tomorrow. Like, just out of the blue completely. So I do believe that was him. That was him working through me. He knew that I had enough, and Dale, let's go experience this other life. And it's tough still to this day, but it's something that I have to work on, pray about every single day.
Absolutely,
every single day.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do it without him. Though I know that.
Shifting gears slightly, I see that's a GoRuck pack that's got the first Phorm logo on it, right? That I saw.
Yeah.
All right. So did they make a lot of? I'm a GoRuck fiend. I did my first event back in like 2015, and I haven't been keeping an eye on the newer rucks that they're putting out, just because my wife will probably shoot me if I spend much more money on them, because I've got like 4 or 5.
And they last
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah,
they don't tear
no
up.
reason
So
to have more than one
Yeah.
unless you need different sizes. But I just wondered if that was like a special thing that they had run for the first Phorm athletes, or if I might be able to acquire one of those.
I can tell you how you can get. Well, so we got them at the November Knockdown Challenge final.
Gotcha.
So that was this past, I think it was April or May, out in Missouri. So it was the finals for the November Knockdown Challenge, and we had those rucksacks for a couple different events that we did, and we got to keep those rucksacks. So I absolutely love it. It's the GR1. I ruck every day to this day. I love rucking. I actually I've already purchased some Go Ruck equipment for the gym, and I did a little test run before we hopped on here. So
nice.
Yeah.
Have you done any of the Go Ruck events? Do you even know about the Go Ruck events?
I know about them. I have not done any of them yet. I would love to, though. They look like a great time.
It's a cool community. That's one of the best things about it, is a lot of like-minded people.
Oh, yeah. Like-minded people suffering together. So
Yeah.
Recipe for a good time.
Yeah.
What was the longest event you did, Aaron?
The challenge, the 12-hour
12 hour?
deals, yeah, the overnight ones.
Oh my goodness.
Was it enough?
It's long enough. I thought about doing and that was like, I'm about 100 pounds lighter than I was at my peak, but back even when I was doing those events, I was about 50 or 60 pounds heavier than I am now, and I guess I picked a weird time to retire from it because I could probably do a lot better, enjoy them more nowadays, but I don't know. I might go do the heavy. The heavy's the 24-hour one, but I don't know. We'll see. My big thing with doing the GoRuck stuff was, and I've given my testimony on here, so I won't go too crazy with it, but growing up, my parents, I had great parents, but if I was playing baseball and I decided I got hit too many times at bat and I just wanted to quit, they wouldn't really put much pressure on me to stay and finish it up. So I quit a lot of stuff when I was a kid, and that went into adulthood, couldn't finish a book, but so I started to do the GoRuck just so that I could break that habit of quitting. I went in there not healthy enough, no idea what I was going to be, what I was getting into, but I told the cadre at the event, it's like, you're going to have to kick me out of here, or you're going to have to call an ambulance because I can't go out on my own, but I'm not going to stop. And that was kind of a change point.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So
So you say you've done a 12-hour one?
Yeah, I've done a couple of the tough challenge of the 12-hour events, and 2 or 3 of the lights, like 4 or 5 hour ones. They're a good time.
So I
You
get
have to sign up for a 24-hour one together.
Well, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it with you, man. There's a lot of events between Lexington and here in Nashville. They host quite a few. Well, they do a bunch in St. Louis, or at least they used to. So maybe
You say
we
you
could
were
talk
like
to
doing
some of your-
burpees in a water fountain in a city somewhere?
Hydro burpees.
Oh.
That's what that's called. Hydro burpees. I did one in March, and it was pretty up in Springfield, Illinois. And
A hydro burpee?
well, one of the GoRuck events, one of the 12-hour ones in Springfield in March, and it was cold that night, and they got us into this nasty river. Well, it's more of a creek than a river, but he let us. He was out of the great, out of his tender mercies, he let us strip off whatever clothes we wanted to before we got in, so that we wouldn't have wet clothes for the remainder of the night. But man, that was a cold night. And then he sat us down after we got out of there. We did hydro burpees, but and was telling us war stories and leadership lessons. He did it just so that we would have to sit there soaking wet in that cold night and just sit there and freeze to death. And then we carried logs for like 6 miles.
It's all mental.
Oh yeah.
It's all mental. You have some physical aspects to it, but it's all mental. You're just competing against yourself in your mind. That's all it is.
Absolutely.
That's all it is.
I guess.
But seriously though, if you do want to do that, I'd be down. That would be the push I needed to maybe come out of retirement.
There we go. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
There we go.
It seems like that idea that I just watched just a few days release Phorm released that video of you guys out in Park City, Utah. It seems like a good idea to run up a mountain. It seems like it, but probably once you start that at some point, you're like, this is pretty difficult.
Oh, absolutely. So actually, the day before, myself and Chaz is the other guy on there that he ran all the way to the top and ended up beating everyone else. But we did halfway the day before.
Oh my!
And even just halfway, the way that I felt when I got back, couldn't breathe, felt like I had blood all in my lungs. Because at altitude, I wasn't used to that altitude out there. I don't know how he did it the next day. It was pretty wild to see. It was pretty wild to watch. They asked me, like, Dale, do you want in on this? I was like, I don't know. I did halfway yesterday. I know what that felt like.
Yeah, I
all
can't
the way to the top.
Can't imagine the leg cramps that ensued after he had jumped in the water and whatnot. Just
probably
had a hard time getting out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, cold mountain water.
No doubt. I guess one area that we hadn't hit on that brings us to also, the channel about faith, family, outdoors. Tell us a little bit about your outdoor experience. What age did this start? What genres of hunting, I guess, if you would, do you waterfowl? Do you big game hunt, turkey hunt? What avenues, and when did this passion for the outdoor start for you?
So you could say I'm a new hunter, honestly. So my dad took me out turkey hunting in 2017, and we were successful on that first turkey hunt. And then after that, I was completely hooked. I actually doubled. I filled both my tags that first year, first turkey season that he took me. And then that fall, I had a buddy who owned 100 acres, a couple counties over, and he took me out deer hunting. And he took me with a rifle, and I was successful on that hunt as well. But it was like a 100-yard shot. I didn't place a good shot on this buck at all. We're on this buck blood trail for like 7 or 8 hours. And it was great. It was fun getting my first buck. I'll never forget it, but something I had obviously seen, YouTube bow hunting on YouTube. And I was like, and I think it'd be cool to bow hunt. So, after that season, just went to a bow shop and, bought a bow, got fitted for it, bought it, started shooting in the backyard, practicing, went out that next season. And I didn't have a tree stand yet, but I had a ground blind. So I set up a ground blind, set off some cameras, and ended up killing one that 2018? It was 2018. Ended up killing one from a ground blind, whitetail, at 12 yards. And then after that, I was definitely hooked just even more because I was such an adrenaline rush. And so that led into, done some waterfowl hunting, in Missouri down in the Boot Hill, which led to honestly moving out to the property that we live on now. I live on 40 acres, so I have deer and turkeys essentially in my backyard. And then, next month, the opportunity to go out west, to go hunt some elk out there. And of course, that's my dream hunt right there. That's the pinnacle. So if we can get that done out there, I'll be a happy man. I'm sure it'll be another addiction. I may end up moving out west. You never know. So
what state are you hunting in?
Colorado.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a hunt that, all the hunts I think are very enjoyable for sure, relaxing, but relaxing is kind of the wrong word, but just being out there, even if you're not successful on elk hunts, man, I just love to be in the mountains.
Right. I got a little bit of a taste of it, like in Utah, being in the mountains, but really looking forward to being in Colorado and really being out there in the mountains and taking that scenery in, and time with, good people, good friends. 'Cause we're going to be out there for 10 days. So.
And again, that's kind of the pinnacle or the apex hunt that a lot of us bow hunters, again, I'm sure I'll get the chance one day, but my cards haven't aligned. My deck hasn't been stacked yet to be able to do that. I've had some up close experiences, different things. I've got a lot of opportunities to go out and hunt. I just haven't taken the plunge yet. So the fact you're able to do that, again, being a new avid hunter, you got some years under your belt, not too far. I've been doing it a long time, but that deer at 12 yards, that elk at 12, 20, 30, I don't know your bow range, but man, that's gonna get the blood pumping for sure.
Oh yeah.
And again, it's the joy of just going out and doing the stalk and doing something different, hunting brings. It's a tight community, a brotherhood. Watching that shoot you guys did. When did you guys do that shoot that just came out on that Park City?
That was just I think it was last month.
Okay,
actually.
So not terribly
too long ago. No.
Yeah, and being able to do those kind of things, and again, that camaraderie, that's an awesome experience. So good luck definitely on that elk, and I look forward to hopefully, getting some content of that, because that'll be amazing for sure.
Does your wife do any of the outdoor stuff with you?
No, she does not. Actually, she's been deer hunting with me, but she's more on at least out here on the property, like the gardening, chickens, that sort of thing. So,
yeah, that's just one of the things that I have noticed about the First Phorm outdoor community is they are doing a pretty good job of getting the females involved. We have a local event called Hunting and Fishing Days. Our local college puts it on, and there's about 35,000 outdoorsmen that come to it in a last weekend of September. And I've had a lab that competition jumped and docked dogs around the states, and I've been to a lot of outdoors events like that. And having a booth, we have a White Oak Legends booth there. There's still a lot of people that don't want to talk to females about hunting in the outdoors. So that is a little discouraging. Every year I kind of dread it, because I know that nobody wants to talk to me about waterfowl hunting or deer hunting, and I've done it since I was 12, and I'm 32 now. So I feel like I know enough about it to justify my knowledge and to have a conversation about it. But yeah. So I do think that's probably why I found you guys like you and Nolan and Jake, and I follow multiple ones of the women in the outdoors, and I think it's cool. Maybe I can push and create my social media in that direction, and people in Southern Illinois will appreciate our women outfitters too.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. We need the women outfitters, and we need women hunters as well,
Yeah, some of the coolest stuff we've done is being part of a decent sized church in our area is we have come across people at events that either they're widows and they don't know how to get their kids into the outdoors if their father had passed away, or maybe the father didn't go hunting himself, or their parents didn't take them. Getting kids into the outdoors have probably been the most rewarding thing that we've had. People from church, like they had a huge men's event at Jonathan and Cassie's plantation is what I call it. They got a stocked pond full of big catfish and bass and bluegill, and one of the little kids caught like 20 fish that day, and it was just really encouraging to be that outlet for our community and encourage the next generation of outdoorsmen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And outdoors women.
Outdoors women. There we go.
So real quick, I want to I heard you mention this book, and it really piqued my interest. The Lion in the Pit on a Snowy Day.
Mm-hmm.
You said that's one of the
fantastic
best.
book. In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day by Mark Batterson. Fantastic book.
Can you tell me a little bit about it? I haven't bought it yet, but it's definitely. I got it in my list to purchase.
Essentially, faith-based book, talking about chasing your potential, chasing your dream. Benaniah found himself in a pit with a lion on a snowy day and defeated that lion in a pit on a snowy day. So if he can do that, what can you do? What are you capable of? Why not go chase your lion?
I love it.
It's awesome.
We did our class at church did a Mark Batterson book, The Circle Maker. I don't know if you guys remember, it was a couple years back, but that book, The Circle Maker, is like vision of, Cassie's got it right here actually at the table. That's crazy. The summary of that one was the guy decided that he wanted to plant a church or build a church, and he started marching just circles, did the same circle walk over and over again and praying every day. And it was just this amazing revival in their area. I remember that book. So that writer is definitely anointed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It also has Win the Day as well by Mark Patterson, another great one as well. But yeah, I think we'll be having copies of that one in the in Gym Blue in a state with Alano every day.
Thank you for that. I'm definitely looking forward to checking that one out.
Well, I guess it's about is concluding our time. Thank you for being on. I guess at this point we usually allow our guests to do any plugs or anything. You got any social medias or platforms or anything you want us to check out? Now's your time to do that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you can follow me along on Instagram, and that's just at Mr. Dale Beatty. On Facebook as well, Dale Beatty, and then on YouTube, Dale Beatty Outdoors.
Excellent, guys. Thank you for being a guest on Absent with Our Lord podcast. It's been awesome. It's been our pleasure getting to speak with you. And then, again, I've started following and subscribing to your Facebook and the content, and I look forward to it. The one thing, I guess, that I just mentioned, we weren't on air when we talked about, I watched you be able to watch your father shoot a whitetail on camera and got that film and track it, and it doesn't get better than that. So definitely great content you're putting out.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hopefully we can get them on another one this year.
Yeah, we just want to open the invitation if you're in Southern Illinois or in the area and you want to duck hunt, or I think our seasons are kind of similar, but we have a lot of available property, and we'd love to invite you to Southern Illinois.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
All right. This has been another episode of Absent with Our Lord podcast. AWOL out.